someone did all three of the things we just talked about, even if they were new and had no network, 3 months later, they're going to have some leads.
So the big question is, what are the top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams, and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? If you ever thought about this, you're not alone. No one has been able to get the answers until now.
We spent the last few years helping agents sell billions in real estate, rubbing shoulders with top producers, which got us thinking, how can we expose more people to these insights to help raise the standard in the whole real estate industry? We then realized that we could help bridge the gap by getting the secrets from the best of the best so that you can succeed. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Elite Agent Secrets.
Let's take a step back. This is technically your third topic because you did your third one first. We're all kind of giving away the juicy details in whatever order, it makes no difference. But let's talk pre-closing table, which is, I know you wanted to discuss like social media messaging, outreach, setting appointments, and then closing them into deals, which is huge. Like this for me is, again, I say this all the time. I'm like, this is my favorite stuff because this gives you the thing called leverage. This is like crazy leverage. And it's leverage, but it's also trackable. So this is like when I'm meeting with a new agent and let's say, you quit some other job and now you're in real estate. You're, 25 to 50 years old and you've lived in the same area for a couple of years. Social media messages are 99.9% of the time going to be your best possible ROI on any other form of marketing. And I've demonstrated this with at least 25 to 30 agents that I meet with every single year who this becomes their number one thing. So here's the strategy. Go on your friends list on Facebook, on Instagram, on whatever your main social site is, whatever the hot one is next week, use that. And go through your friends list, sort it A to Z, or sort it in some way that's organized. Just have any organized way you want. And choose a number of messages that you want to send out per day based on the total number you have. If you have 5,000, you should probably be sending out more a day. If you have 500 friends, maybe send out less a day. And don't
get into Facebook jail.
Don't go into Facebook jail for sending like 25 out. But here, I'll tell you what though, Peter, you get into Facebook jail for sending spam messages out. And I'm not going to tell anyone to do that today because that's not my jam. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to click on their profile, see what they've been up to recently, and then send them a message about that. So like if you go to my profile, you'd see that I had crappy service with American Airlines yesterday. I was in Dallas for a marketing conference. You could message me about that. Be like, dude, I always hate American. That's why I always fly Delta, or not to knock anyone out there. If American is one of your sponsors, I apologize in advance. But in general,
I really wish that was true.
Yeah, right.
I wish. Yeah, same here.
One day.
American, if you're listening,
when you message someone about something that they posted about, they respond to it because I took time out of my day to post about my situation. And so if you message me about that, I'm going to respond. But here's the good part. Most human beings, when you send them a message and the first conversation starts to die, they're going to ask you one question. What are they going to say?
Enlighten us.
They're going to say,
that's not the question.
How are you?
They're going to ask about you.
They're going to ask about you. Yes. And once they've asked you about you and they've asked you that open-ended question, now you're allowed to talk about real estate without sounding salesy, right? Like if I message you, like I sat through one of the biggest real estate companies in the world. They do this training course like every 6 months. And they have like an instructor fly in and whatever. So I heard this like 65-year-old dude tell everyone like this 2-paragraph scripts that he wanted to copy and them to all copy and paste and message to all their friends during the course. And I was like, excuse me, like I don't want to ruin this, but like if you do this, you're all going to go to Facebook jail and this isn't going to work. But if you do this and you message them about what they care about, you'll get the response. Number one, this is algorithm gold. Because when you message someone on Facebook or Insta specifically, and they respond to you, that triggers the algorithm that you guys are interested in each other's stuff again. And now they're going to see your posts again, which hopefully are about real estate a little bit if they haven't seen it recently. So you're killing two birds with one stone. First, you're trying to have a conversation. Second, they're going to see more of your stuff. And third, you'll be able to figure out after about a week how many messages it takes to set a coffee meeting, a happy hour, or something else for the next week. For most of the agents I work with, it's about 20. if you send out 20 messages per day, you should be able to set 20 messages. You'll set one meeting of some kind, because usually 1 in 10 people is buying real estate in the next year, but 1 in 20 kind of works for messages because some people won't respond to you.
Yeah, good. I love that. I think this is totally.
And I also love how you're breaking down the numbers, tangible.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, it just shows that you're actually doing this shit, and it's like here are the actual numbers. When I think I know what the answer is going to be to this, because it's to do with personalities. Because here's kind of what I'm going to say with the messaging. It's interesting how yours is from a standpoint of personalization and trying to engage. I personally don't enjoy that, and I'll tell you why. But I do think it's my personality. And I think that actually I'm probably not the norm. I'm further away, because like I'm a super analytical and logical guy. So when people message me, I just want them to tell me why the fuck they're messaging me. I would much rather someone go, yo, I'm a realtor in San Antonio. Like, are you looking to sell your home? And I would just be like, cheers for reaching out. No. And that's it, right? Rather than going, hey, I saw you were racing cars last weekend. That's it. And I'm like, and I go straight to their profile and I'm like, mortgage broker, San Antonio. And I'm like, I don't say anything. I'm just like, bin off. But I do know this because we do like messaging, like you're saying as well. And I think it's just a personality profile, because a lot of people they enjoy that personalization, and I totally get it. But it's also, I'm sure you've experienced, it definitely isn't for everyone. Like some people will just be like, fuck off.
Yeah. You're totally right. And part of it too, questions, for someone, there is a level of authenticity that you have to have with it.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, like, your social media is also kind of like a farm, right? Like if you've ignored it for the last 10 years and now all of a sudden, like, I haven't talked to you, Andrew, in 10 years and I message you out of the blue and I'm a mortgage broker. Yeah, of course you're going to be like, what the hell? Yeah. But if I've been engaged with you for the past 10 years and we constantly talk, comment on each other's stuff, now it's a little bit more natural and it feels a little bit better. If you haven't talked to someone, you don't know who they are face to face, really, maybe don't send them a creepy message out of the blue. But it's also a numbers game. So you kind of have to work both sides of it.
This is what
I was literally just about to say that. Like, if you haven't talked to somebody for the last 5 years and you randomly strike up a conversation and you're pretending that you give a fuck about them, they're going to see through your shit, right? It's not going to be authentic. Like, cut the shit, just be straight up. At least that's my take on it. Now, if it's your buddies or somebody you've kind of kept in touch with, or, you message them, you engage with them, and you're ready and prepared to have an authentic interaction, no matter what the outcome is going to be, then 100%, Matt, you couldn't have said it any better. That's the way to go.
Well, the other piece too, even if you never make it to the real estate part, right? If you never ask me about it, I'm not going to mention it. But we at least know that then the algorithm is going to kick in and you're going to start seeing my other.
Correct. So now your patience kicks in, and you got to be prepared to play the long-term game, AKA staying in touch with your quote unquote database, right? That is on Facebook. As long as you're okay with that, detach yourself from the outcome, no matter whether it's good or bad or indifferent. Just know what you're trying to accomplish and be authentic. Don't be a scrub by like ruining your network by being so transactionally driven that you end up kind of biting yourself in the butt. Like, at the end of the day, listen, you don't have to convert everybody in your database. You don't have to talk to everybody in your database. You're going to unfriend some people. They're going to unfriend you. A lot of people don't give a shit about you. That's okay. That's just the reality of it. We're all selfish and self-centered, no matter how we look at it. But don't make the mistake of trying to be somebody's best friend when you haven't talked to them for 10 years because you want to get a transaction. That's the wrong approach, bottom line, no matter how you look at it.
100%. Totally right.
I'm curious, Matt, then. So I'm going to play the part of, actually, it's a great example is Peter. So Peter's lived his whole life in Philly, right? So his friends are all Philly based. And then he moved to Florida 6 months ago or whatnot. And it's like, okay, Matt, that's a great strategy, but all my network I'm not doing business in Philly anymore. Like I'm in Florida. So does your messaging and the things you touch on, are they also do they also work, I guess, in a cold manner, aka you've moved to an area and now you want to prospect because there isn't any value there and they don't know you. So it does come across different, right? And I'm not sure if you've got a different strategy or you just don't do it.
I think when your network is not a group of people that can send you business, like it's not a state that you're licensed in, it definitely works less good, right? Because you're not going to set those meetings. I think adding it as part of your overall strategy is still good because, like for Florida example, like everybody knows someone in Florida looking to buy a house in Florida, looking to buy something. So I think it still makes sense, but also from the referral perspective, I mean, especially where I live, like a lot of my realtors can make more money by referring a deal to Peter in Florida than they would and getting that 30% fee rather than doing a deal themselves.
That's where my head was going at as well, right? So like based on what you shared with me, I had an epiphany as you were talking that instead of me hitting up my friends, being like, buddy buddies with them, my approach, my instant thought process, I'd love to get your feedback on this, would be like hitting up somebody saying, hey, I know we haven't talked in a while. I just got into real estate. I'm down in Florida. Do you know anybody who's either looking to move down here or is looking to, get a second home, a vacation home or something along those lines, where it's a little bit transactional, but opens the route of back and forth travel, whether it comes into fruition or not. I'm trying to get my name out there. And I think inadvertently that kind of gives me permission to be more upfront with why I'm messaging somebody. One, because I'm a newer agent, totally cool, not a big deal. But two, because it's Florida, right? It's like a second destination for a lot of people where I'm from, which is Philly, from the Northeast area to travel down here based on what I'm seeing.
I think if you would move to like Idaho, no disrespect to Idaho, this strategy wouldn't work as well. And I think that's totally okay. But I mean, if you move to California, you move to New York, you move to Florida, even certain states with just a really healthy economy, everyone knows someone that lives there, that's from there, that has parents there, and the referral game works. Now, the setting meetings aspect doesn't work so well with that strategy, but everything else can still work just as planned.
Yeah, it's all about just having the right intention and being authentic with the interaction that you're having. Basically, what you're saying.
Yeah. If I had just moved to an area and I wanted to get business off of social, what I would probably do is I'd probably find as many local groups or hashtags that are super local specific that I could follow. That way I have a reason to inject myself into conversations in those areas where I am. Like, so, I'm trying to build up my business a little bit more to do more like, public speaking in the Naples area, right? Like I have a house down there now, like I'm going to be down there more. And so what I'm doing is I joined the Naples Food and Foodie group because I'm a foodie. And so now I'm meeting people through that group. So the next time I go down there, I don't have to my wife and I don't have to eat alone. Like we'll have friends down there. But also like from a prospecting perspective, I'm meeting people when I'm doing that. So if you don't have a huge network where you live and it's not like a destination, start using more groups, start using more hashtags if it's Instagram and following those, not just like using them on your posts, obviously.
And be fucking patient.
Yeah.
Isn't it overnight shit?
Meet the barber. Saying go get a haircut, get a barber, month later, load of referrals rolling in. That's it.
I mean, if someone, but seriously though, right? Like if someone did all three of the things we just talked about, even if they were new and had no network, 3 months later, they're going to have some leads, right? 100%. Like a little patience is important, but this stuff has a huge long-term play. And then you multiply that over 10 years, the snowball effect works better in real estate than any other industry under the planet.
Matt, this has been fantastic. So I want to give you the floor because people are going to be interested in your book. Yeah. So if someone wants to reach out, they want either send you deals, mortgages, they want all that stuff, your book, any other stuff you got going on, how can people reach out to you?
Absolutely. So they can hit me up on Instagram. I don't keep it all real estate and mortgage because that'd be boring. It's a lot of wine, family, food, travel, a little bit of real estate. And I'm at Matt, M-A-T-T Muscat, M-U-S-C-A-T 88. That's on Insta. Otherwise, you can hit me up on my website, mattmuscat.com. You'll see my mortgage info there. I'm not a loan officer, so you don't need to send me a referral. But if you know any great loan officers that you think should work for a company that can close fast, I would love to meet with them. And obviously, if you know a loan officer that you want to partner on marketing with, my book strategies make a ton of sense to do with an accountability partner, and your trusted lender, whether they work for me or not, would be a great place for you to start. So The book's on Amazon, Tangible Action Guide for Real Estate Marketing. And if you're a broker or a team and you need to kick your employees into shape, I can sell you some bulk copies of that too, so that you can do like a group, like an office training.
Love it.
And don't forget, Matt's also looking for some public speaking in Naples. And we don't get paid to promote this, but
yeah, if your group needs a speaker, hit me up. Always like to hear my own voice. But seriously, I like to, especially if it's good. If you're in an area that has good restaurants and bars, I would love to come speak. If you're in an area that's really cold and the food's terrible, probably don't mess.
Maybe I'll pass unless he's getting paid.
Yeah, right.
So don't invite him to Alaska.
Yeah, you know what? I've heard the fish there is good. I'd consider it at the right time of year.
I love it. Matt, thank you so much for jumping on. It's been an absolute pleasure. We've really gone deep on a lot of tangible stuff. And I think you've lived up to your book's name as well, which is fantastic. So thank you for jumping on. And everyone listening, I hope you really enjoyed it. Go ahead and execute, and we will see you in the next one. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode. Now, before you go, we're giving access to a private training we did where we revealed the top 3 niches to get listings today completely for free. So if you want access, you can go and download that training at eliteagentsecrets.com. We're regularly releasing new trainings, guides, and cheat sheets. So make sure to head over to eliteagentsecrets.com and sign up so you don't miss out.